Well, what's going up, everyone? It is your boy Hunter, and welcome to a new video. In today's video, we are gonna be ranking MLB teams and how they've done this year. So, all of these 30 teams are gonna be put in one of these categories: S being the greatest, S being the best, and D being the worst. S is fantastic, A is great, B is good, C is meh, and D is trash. So, let's just begin with the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles were just like they were last year. And, nobody can say it otherwise. They were great for the entire year. Now, Boston, to me, they didn't have that great of the end of the year. Middle of the year, yeah, they were great. They were really good. You had Jarren Duran, Rafael Devers, Cedar Rafaela, their rookie, I think, and a lot of those players. So you had great players for the Red Sox. But yeah, as I said, the end of the year for the Red Sox were not great. But they had a better year last year. So they were a mid team. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. They were kind of meh. I want to put them in C because that's the meh section. All right, New York. New York is an S tier. They made a greater comeback than they did last year, going 82-80 to, I believe, as of right now, the season has not ended officially yet for the for MLB, but they are 93-68. So that is a big difference from 82-80. Or yeah, I believe 82-80. Yeah. So it's just a big difference. All right, now let's go to the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay is D. I don't gotta say anything. Awful for the year. Awful. Toronto, same thing. They made the playoffs last year. But guess what? They didn't make it. Oh, we've got back-to-back teams. Chicago also. Don't I gotta say anything? Do I have to say literally a single word about this team? Only thing I'd say is pathetic. Pathetic. Awful. Okay, now we've got a great team here with the Cleveland Guardians, making an incredible better season than they did. So, great for the beginning of the year, surprising by everyone. Middle of the year, great. On top of the league, had the best record. Now, end of the year was not the sharpest, but it was still really good. Still held them on to making the playoff and clinching their division. So, that's some good pluses right there, I gotta say. So, great team throughout the year. Okay, now let's move on to the Detroit Tigers. This team made a bounce back at the end of the year, as of right now. They have made the wild card. So they were kind of middle of the pack, middle of the year. Then in September was the month. The Tigers came, and they did their greatest, and they make the playoffs. So that's great for the Detroit Lions. Oh, silly me. Tigers. I gotta say, they are a good team. Kansas City, also a great team. Much better. Much better. Much better than last year. I believe they were the first team last year to have the first 100 losses this season. This year, they have not done. My favorite team at the Atlanta Braves have done great against them. They hit a walk-off. So that's some really good things for me. So, what I gotta say, Kansas City's been good for the entire year. I'm gonna put them in the great team tier list. All right, Minnesota was the team that was great for the year. Everybody was like looking at them as making the playoffs, and then they choked in the end, which is sad, very sad for the Twin Cities with Minneapolis and St. Paul, but kind of sad for them. Eliminated. I'm going to put them in a B. But, I mean, they made the playoffs last year, though. But they're a good team, I'll say. Houston has the biggest comeback of the year. They went 0-4 to start off. And they were terrible at the beginning. Then they started to come back and maybe get some people's attention. End of the year, then they finally become good again. So, middle of the year, then they started to middle of the year, they started to have some eye-popping stuff. And end of the year, they became good again. So, this has just been a good year for the Astros. Big come around from how they began. Angels have been terrible for the year. Mike Trout's not been what he's been living up to for the years. Alright, Oakland Athletics. This was their last year being in Oakland, and they ended off Oakland as a good team. Now, yeah, they went from 50 and 112 to, I believe, almost getting 70 wins. So this year is very sad, but I'm going to put them in a low good team tier list. I love the A's. Now, I'm not a bandwagon, but, I mean, I just love the A's. And I really wish that they didn't have an owner like Jimbo Fisher. No, Jimbo Fisher! This is not A&M. John Fisher. There we go. Yeah. There we go. All right. Seattle, I'm going to put C. They led the AL West for the year, but their offense is not great. Their offense is not great at all. Now, they have good pitchers, and good defense. The sad thing is, though, they didn't have any offense for this year, so they were not a great team. Texas, on the other hand, was also terrible. The defending world champions are now they were awful, and they had a good beginning of the year, but then middle of the year and end of the year they became awful. So it's kind of sad for what has come to the Rangers. The Braves team. Oh, what a fun ride. This is definitely not an S, but beginning of the year started off great. And then injuries. May 26, 2024, what a devastating day when they played the Pirates just a month before my birthday on June 26th. He gets injured on the base path. I think he got a double. And this was before my baseball practice, I believe. Yeah, I was watching it. So it was really sad. But yeah, good beginning of the year, middle of the year kind of shaky, but still holding on. Approaching July and August, after second half, oh man. They went on 2 6 losing streaks, and it did not look good. But then they came back, and they became good again, great again. And now, they look like they're about to get a wild card. So I'll say for this Atlanta team is a great team. much greater starting off. And going back and looking at those things like they were nothing. Marlins is a big D. The reason why I say this is because a lot of people are true about my statement. They went 0-9, I believe, starting off this year. 0-9. And last year, they made the playoffs. But this year, they look like a load of trash bags. So, awful team, I'll say. Awful, awful team. The Miracle Mets, here we go. If Grimace never came, this Atlanta team would be getting the 2024, would be in the 2024 wild card. So, this Mets team has the biggest come around this entire year. They are a great team, I'll say. Even though I am a person that hates the Mets. Phillies are an S. Alright, Washington's a D. They were not great for the entire year. Chicago's a C. Last year they almost made it until they choked. But this year, they weren't close. They were never close. At all. Now, they became a little bit better. But they weren't not great for the entire year. At all. But now let's begin. Cincinnati. Cincinnati has so much talent. All of that stuff. And they never contribute. Nothing. They never contribute with it. They never take advantage of their one great baseball player, of Elly De La Cruz. So that kind of stinks for Cincinnati. And here we go. Milwaukee is a S tier team. I don't know what that sound keeps playing. It's happened a little bit too. Pittsburgh. They've got some talent with Paul Scanz. When Paul Scanz came in, May, I believe, or June, sometime between then. Yeah, Paul Scanz and the Pirates. But even though they had him, they still weren't great. The Pirates still weren't great. Now, I'll put them right here. They still weren't great for the year, even with Paul Scanz. St. Louis. Now, good beginning of the year. Not really that good beginning of the year. Middle of the year, people started to notice them. End of the year, I guess they got a little bit too overhyped, and they fell apart. So this St. Louis team is I'll put them in a low good team. I'll say. Diamondbacks, bad beginning of the year. Bad. Not bad, but they weren't great. Middle, they started to become a little bit better. End of the year, then they kind of startled the Dodgers fans in the NL West, so that was something right there. But now they're choking right now in the wild card with the NL. And the Braves are in the wild card now, so because of it. But this Diamondbacks team, pretty dangerous. So I'll put them right there. Colorado. Now let's just get into some two easy ones. Colorado is a D. I think everybody can relate to that. The Dodgers are an S. I don't gotta say anything right there. Okay. Now we've got the Padres. So, not great for the first half. Then they started to become a little bit better in the middle. And then they became great. At the end of the year, great. And then they made the wild card. First time, I think, since 2022, they made the wild card, or the playoffs. So, just a really, really solid team throughout the year. So I'm really happy. I'm really proud of my proud of how the San Diego Padres have done. And I mean, one of my grandfathers. So my grandfather has had a brother that lives in San Diego. I don't know what you would call that. My granduncle, I don't know. So yeah, he's from San Diego, so I kind of so I don't really care about the Padres, but I mean, I kind of have to like them. But I'm going to put them great. They're really high up there. All right, San Francisco, D. I don't really gotta say anything right there. They were pretty quiet. All right, folks, there you have it. That's all 30 MLB teams. Now, with the fantastic teams, let's just begin with all of it. Fantastic teams have been Cleveland Guardians, New York Yankees, Baltimore Orioles, Los Angeles Dodgers, Milwaukee Brewers, Philadelphia Phillies. Great teams. San Diego Padres, Kansas City Royals, Atlanta Braves, New York Mets, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good teams. The Twin Cities of the Minnesota Twins, of course. Houston Astros, Detroit Tigers, Oakland Athletics, and St. Louis Cardinals. Mad teams, okay teams. Boston Red Sox, Seattle Mariners, Texas Rangers, Pittsburgh Pirates, Cincinnati Reds, and Cleveland Guardians. Not Cleveland. I meant the Chicago Cubs, sorry. Terrible teams. Miami Marlins, San Francisco Giants, Chicago White Sox, Tampa Bay Rays, Colorado Rockies, the Los Angeles Angels, Washington Nationals, and finally, the Toronto Blue Jays. Phew! That was a lot. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment on the video how you think this went. And I hope you guys have a good rest of have a good day tomorrow. And peace out, and God bless your soul, and goodbye.